Hello and welcome to Data Analysis and Visualization. I'm Jivita Christie, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what I'm going to post from now onwards, which is about data analysis and visualization. So this is the subject for which I'll be posting videos from now on, and this is just an introduction to what this is all about. First of all, I'd like to begin by explaining what analytics is. So analytics can range from a simple exploration into how many sales of a particular product were made last year to a complex neural network model predicting which customers to target for next year's marketing campaign. So as you can see in the definition, it's a very broad subject. And it could be something as simple as just finding out how many sales you made in the last year for a particular product. And it could be also something very complex, like finding out through a neural network model and predicting which kinds of customers I could target to increase my sales in the next year. So it is something very vast and very broad. But in my series of lectures that I'm going to be posting now, I'm going to post some simple examples also, which are purely statistical and which would involve, finding things like how many sales were made in the last year. And there will also be something related to machine learning, like clustering and classification, regression, and even things like decision trees, random forest algorithms. So all of these things are going to be combined in what I'm going to be posting right now. Along with all this about analytics, we are also going to study visualization. So I'll be posting videos about that too. There are two kinds of analysis. The first one is descriptive. Descriptive describes what happened in the past. So things like where you want to find out how well your students did in the last year. What was their average score? What was the highest score? What was the lowest score? Finding out how many items you sold last year of a particular brand of watch from your store. So that is descriptive analytics, finding out things that happened in the past and describing them and drawing conclusions from them. But just like you have descriptive analytics, you also have predictive analytics. Predictive analytics deals with predicting what will happen in the future. And most of the time, this prediction is done based on the historical data that descriptive analytics gives or uses. So for example, if in the past you found out through descriptive analytics that you were able to sell a particular product in a particular region very well, then you would know, then you could predict by predictive analytics that probably in next year too, you might be able to sell that product well in that region. So you might want to increase maybe number of delivery executors going there. You might want to increase the number of supplies number of products that you supply over there. So that all these things can help you. All these things can help you to improve your business, and that is how predictive analytics works. Now we're going to see some applications of analytics, and trust me, they are limitless applications, but I'm going to list out a few. The first application is in retail. So retail is where you might be owning a small store or a big store, like D-Mart or Reliance Fresh, or a store of that kind. So if you're owning that type of a store, selling groceries or selling any kinds of products, whether they are healthcare products or they are eatables, edible items, and grains and everything. So that is a retail store. So people come to your store and buy things from your store. Now you would want to use analytics to improve what is bought from your store, to increase the number of things bought from your store, and definitely increase your revenue in the process. So to do that, you might want to perform some sort of a descriptive or predictive analytics on your buying and selling things. So, for example, if you were noticing that a lot of people were, buying bread, and they were also buying butter, and that you realized that a person who's bought bread is more likely to buy butter or cheese or jam or something of that sort. So the ideal thing to do would be to place the bread section in your retail store next to the dairy section in your retail store, where you are selling butter and cheese and all those things. So this would definitely entice people, even a person who probably is not thinking about buying butter after buying bread will probably think twice before leaving your store, because once he or she has bought bread, they can see just right next to it that there's butter, there's cheese. So maybe they didn't realize initially that they wanted it, but now that they see it, they realize it. So due to that analysis that you performed and understood that people with buying bread are also buying butter, you were able to increase the number of people um, buying your products. That is just one example. And there are many other examples like this that you can use in retail. You can even find out through descriptive analytics how many products were sold last year and of which item. So, for example, you probably have two brands of tea, and you realized that there is one brand of tea that is selling better than the other one. And so this year you had bought both the brands, with equal quantity of both the brands. But next year, because you understood that one brand is selling more, you might want to buy more number of items of that particular brand of tea. So this way it helps you to do inventory. You are buying things based on analysis, so that way you won't be left with surplus products at the end of the year, and you won't be at a loss. So this is another way analytics can help in retail. The other application is in e-commerce. E-commerce is all the websites like Amazon where you can go and purchase your products online. Here too, analytics can help. It can help. It can help, and it can help e-commerce owners to understand how people came to their website, because there are so many places from where you can go to Amazon. For example, you were watching a YouTube video and you got an advertisement from Amazon that of a certain product, and you realized that product was very nice and you wanted to buy it. So you clicked on the link and went to Amazon. So that's one way of going to Amazon. Another way of going to the Amazon website could be by clicking on some advertisement that you saw on a page that you were reading. So that's another way. It could also be by doing a Google search, by Googling some particular item. In the search, the option came up of Amazon selling that product and you clicked on it. So there are many ways in which you can go there. And the reason why Amazon would like to know how you came to their website is to understand how their advertising is working, where advertising is working better. So if they realize that maybe through YouTube, a lot of people are coming to Amazon, then they might want to increase the number of advertisements or the revenue for advertisements that is given to YouTube. So this is why they would like to know it. Other thing where analytics can be used, another example is building recommendation lists for customers. If I open my Amazon application, definitely it will be different than what you see on your application, because your likes and dislikes, your preferences are different than mine. So Amazon gives me a very well tailored content, which is just suited for me. So when I look at it, I'm more likely to buy things because they are things that interest me. So this way, and how is this data actually collected? By seeing your search history, by seeing what kinds of items you viewed, what kinds of items you clicked on and checked the details of, what kinds of items you added to your cart, what kinds of items you finally purchased, or what kinds of items you removed from your cart because of some reason. So by seeing all these things, Amazon decides that these are the things you like, and that's how you get personalized recommendations. So this is where, once again, analytics plays an important role. The next thing we have is finance. So within the finance sector, analytics can once again be very helpful. One such example is stock market. So within the stock markets, a lot of predictions are made every day to understand which stocks to buy, which stocks to sell. So there you could use analytics. You could also use analytics in finance for credit card related issues like finding out if someone is a fraud, deciding how much credit card limit to give to a person. So for all these things, analytics can be used in finance. Analytics can be used in sports uh, for analyzing players. If you had a football team, you'd like to know how many goals a particular player has made in what kind of game, to understand how likely that player is to make another goal in the next game. So that is how you can analyze sports. You can even make predictions about sports by using analytics. You can also use analytics in healthcare. So that is to understand how medicines are working, which medicines are being sold, um, finding out if there is going to be an outspread of some sort of a disease in the future, or even finding out if some vaccine trial is successful or not, whether or not the vaccine is affecting people adversely. All these things can be done through healthcare, in healthcare through analytics. Then it could be used in education to find out how students are doing, what was the average score, what was the maximum score, how can you improve the techniques by which education is imparted. And then you have telecom sector. Telecom sector are all your service providers that provide you services on your mobile devices. So in the telecom sector also, analytics is very useful for finding out what kinds of customers are buying your mobile phone, are buying your service provider, what kinds of customers are lodging complaints, to find out in which area people are using your service less. So then you can find out why that is so. Maybe it's because they do not get enough signal in that area, so you could set up a tower or something. So that is where analytics plays a very important role in the telecom sector also. Other than this, analytics plays also a very important role in business, like marketing, supply chain management, human resources, information technology, manufacturing, and strategy. Now, the question is, what does a data scientist or a data analyst do? So first of all, a data scientist would explore data. He or she would play with data, understand the data, and compile information from the data. The main purpose of the data scientist is to ask a lot of questions. Try to ask as many questions as possible of the data that you have. That will help you to draw better conclusions from your data and get more information from your data. Data scientists also need to define and test hypotheses. They need to develop predictive models and algorithms to analyze the data better. And they also need to provide powerful visualizations and create interesting business stories that will aid business decision making. So these are the tasks that a data scientist would do. And most of this we are going to be covering in the lectures that I'm going to post now. Now, another question that is there is, how does one become a data scientist? What sort of skills are required? So number one, you need to develop an integrated analytical skill set. So this is the first skill. The second you need is pick up some visualization skills. So both of these you are going to be able to do once I finish teaching this subject. And then you need to get exposure to large data sets. Now, this type of exposure can be done by visiting a lot of websites. There are so many websites nowadays providing data sets for free. So you don't even have to perform your own surveys to get to collect data. Most of the time, you'll get your data ready and sometimes even clean, so you can use it right away. The fourth thing is sharpen your business skills. And the fifth one is to keep abreast of innovations and news in the analytics industry. Because it's an industry where a lot of open source material is available, you'll be able to get a lot of material for free and new material because people keep contributing towards it. And if you are subscribing to some newsletters about data analytics, you'll definitely be able to keep abreast of the innovations happening. Next, you need to develop some technical skills like statistics, algorithms. I'm not going to cover a lot of statistics in my lectures, but I'll give you a brief overview of all the things required. You need to understand algorithms. We are going to be seeing some very interesting algorithms here in this subject. You can learn machine learning. That is another very useful topic, and mathematics. You also need to have some business domain expertise. So this is where you need to decide which area you want to become a data scientist in. In the beginning, I explained to you all the applications of data science or data analytics. In those applications, you must have seen there's healthcare, there's sports, and everything. Now, everybody cannot analyze sports because if I'm analyzing football, I do need to know about football. So I need to understand the game thoroughly. I need to understand everything about it. And only then can I analyze it. And same thing for healthcare. If you want to analyze data related to healthcare, you also need to have some background in healthcare. So that is where domain expertise comes into picture. The sixth thing you require is programming expertise. And number 7 is visualization skills. So this is where once you've got your analysis ready, you want to display it, you want to show it to people. And for that, you need to have very good visualization skills so that when you show your analysis to people, they understand it right away. They don't have to struggle to understand what you are trying to show. Now, these are the different roles and responsibilities that that you could get in an organization if you started working as a data analyst. So initially, you'd begin as an analyst, then you could be promoted to be a senior analyst or team leader, a manager, or an associated vice president. So this is how a career path progress can be seen in data analytics. And finally, the tools, popular analytics tools that can be used are mentioned here. But these tools, it's not limited to these tools, but these are the tools that I'm going to be covering in the lectures that I'm going to be posting from tomorrow onwards. So this These are the tools. We have MS Excel, which is a very powerful tool. If you have a small data set, you can practically do everything, every type of analysis using MS Excel. Then we have Tableau, R, and Python, all of which are open source. R and Python are programming languages, and they have so many libraries available that you can actually perform most of your analytics through that. So we are going to be using all four of these tools later on, and you'll learn more about them there. So that's it for this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.